All right, so get this. We're diving into synthetic data today.
Oh, yeah. Synthetic data.
It's making waves in the AI world.
Huge waves, yeah.
You know how AI always needs those massive data sets to learn?
Yeah. Tons of data.
Well, imagine AI creating its own WN training data.
Whoa!
That's synthetic data.
That's wild. It's a fascinating concept.
It really is. And it's stirring up some strong opinions.
Definitely. Some experts are calling it the next big thing for AI.
While others are saying, hold on a second.
Right. It's a bit of a debate.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So let's break it down a little. Why is Team Innovation so excited? What's got them so fired up about synthetic data?
Okay, well, think about it for a second. We always hear that data is like the new oil.
Yeah, the fuel that powers AI.
Exactly. But what happens when we run out of that fuel?
That's a good question.
Elon Musk even said that we've basically used up all the internet data to train AI.
Really? Like we've reached the end.
Pretty much. It's a big obstacle.
Definitely throws a wrench in the works.
It does. So that's where synthetic data comes in.
To solve the data shortage.
Exactly. We need to explore new digital worlds, so to speak.
Interesting.
With synthetic data, we can generate tons of information.
Tailored for specific needs.
Right. It could unlock completely new possibilities for AI.
That's pretty mind-blowing. Do you have any examples of how it's actually being used?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. One of the most promising areas is medical research.
Okay, I'm listening.
So imagine doctors working on a new treatment.
For a rare disease.
Exactly. They might only have data from a few patients.
Which makes it hard to test new approaches.
Yeah, not enough data to make real progress.
I see.
But with synthetic data, they could create thousands of virtual patients.
Each with unique characteristics.
Right. They could simulate different treatments and side effects.
And ultimately develop more effective therapies.
Exactly.
So synthetic data is kind of like a clinical trial on demand.
That's a great way to put it.
Without the ethical concerns or logistical hurdles.
Exactly. And it's not just limited to rare diseases. It's being used to train AI for cancer diagnosis, predicting heart attacks, even personalizing drug dosages.
Wow, the potential is huge.
It is. It's pretty remarkable.
That's a strong argument for team innovation.
Yeah, definitely.
But we need to hear from team caution, too. What are their concerns about synthetic data? What are the potential downsides?
Well, the biggest worry is that AI trained on synthetic data could become detached from reality.
Detached.
Yeah, imagine learning to swim in a pool,
Okay.
and then suddenly you're thrown into the ocean.
Oh, I see. So you have the basic skills, but
But you're not prepared for the real world.
the currents, the waves, the unexpected stuff.
Right. You can only learn that by experiencing the real thing.
So you're saying there's a risk that AI trained on synthetic data might miss those complexities.
Yeah.
The unpredictability of real-world data.
Exactly. And that could have serious consequences.
Like what?
Well, imagine an AI system designed to analyze financial markets.
Okay.
If it's only trained on perfect synthetic data that reflects historical trends, it might completely miss a sudden economic downturn.
Or like a black swan event.
Exactly. It could be blindsided.
That's a scary thought.
It is.
It makes you wonder if we're risking AI systems making decisions based on a flawed understanding of reality.
It's a valid concern, yeah. It's definitely something researchers are thinking about.
To figure out.
Yeah, one of the challenges is that synthetic data is always going to be a simplified version of reality.
Like a model.
Yeah, exactly. Like if
Yeah.
you create a map of a city,
Okay.
you can show the main streets and landmarks, but
Right.
you'll miss the smaller details, right? The hidden alleyways, the character of each neighborhood.
And those are the things that make the real world so complex.
Exactly. So we need to be careful with synthetic data.
Not get carried away.
It's a powerful tool, but not a magic solution.
So we need to use it strategically.
Yes. And whenever possible, we should combine it with real-world data.
So it's not about choosing one or the other.
No, it's about finding ways to make them work together.
Like a blend.
Right. Think of it this way. Synthetic data can help us build a foundation.
A basic understanding.
Yeah, but to really master something, to build AI that can handle the real world,
We need real world data
we do. It's like reading about a place in a travel guide.
versus actually going there.
Exactly. The travel guide gives you an overview.
But the real experience is what shapes your understanding.
That's a great way to put it.
So where does this leave us? What's the future of synthetic data in AI?
I think it's about finding that balance.
Between synthetic and real world data.
Right. We need to use synthetic data strategically to fill the gaps.
And to create training scenarios that would be difficult or impossible in the real world.
Exactly. We also need to be mindful of bias.
Oh yeah, bias in the data,
It's a big problem in AI.
with both synthetic and real-world data.
Right. We need to make sure our data sets are representative and diverse.
So they reflect the real world.
And don't perpetuate harmful stereotypes.
It's not just about the quantity of data.
It's about the quality and how well it represents the world.
That makes sense. This brings up another question. If we're creating synthetic data to train AI, who decides what goes into that data?
That's a really important question.
Who's shaping these digital worlds?
And what are the implications of those choices? It's like we're becoming architects of AI's reality.
That's a powerful thought.
And it comes with a huge responsibility.
We need to make sure it's done ethically,
Yes. Transparency and accountability are crucial.
and it needs to benefit everyone.
Absolutely. So we've talked about the benefits of synthetic data,
The need for balance,
the importance of addressing bias.
and the ethical considerations.
What about the big picture? How might synthetic data change the future of AI development?
Okay, let's talk about that.
One possibility is that it could make AI more accessible.
More accessible,
Yeah, right now developing AI requires huge data sets
which are usually only available to big companies.
or well-funded research institutions.
So it's kind of an unfair advantage.
It is, but synthetic data could level the playing field.
So.
Smaller teams, startups, researchers in developing countries could all access the data they need.
Without relying on those massive data sets,
Exactly. It could lead to a wave of new innovation.
with people from all over the world contributing to AI.
It could lead to more diverse AI systems, too.
More representative of different communities.
That's the hope. But there are potential downsides, too.
Like what?
We need to be careful that synthetic data doesn't worsen existing inequalities.
That's a good point.
If the creation of synthetic data is controlled by just a few powerful groups
It could create AI that reflects their biases.
and further marginalize those who are already underrepresented,
So it's not just about making data accessible.
it's about making sure the process is inclusive and equitable.
That's important. This is all very thought-provoking.
It is.
It feels like we're at the start of a new era for AI.
Where the very definition of data is changing.
It's exciting.
It is. It's full of potential and uncertainty.
And it's up to us to shape the future of AI
To have these conversations and consider the ethical implications.
and make sure it benefits humanity.
Exactly.
Yeah, it really feels like we're on the edge of a major shift.
A whole new way of thinking about data and AI.
Exactly. But we need to be cautious as we move forward.
We can't just jump in blindly.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into synthetic data, what are the key takeaways? What should our listeners remember?
Well, I think the most important thing is to remember that synthetic data isn't a replacement for real-world data.
It's a tool,
Right. A powerful tool.
but we need to use it wisely.
Exactly. We can't just throw away all our existing data and generate everything synthetically.
It's about finding the right balance
Finding the right way to integrate them.
and recognizing the limitations.
Synthetic data is essentially a model, a simulation,
It can capture some aspects of reality,
but it can't fully replicate the complexity of the real world.
which brings us back to that point about AI potentially developing a distorted view of reality.
If it's only trained on synthetic data,
It needs exposure to both.
right, both synthetic and real-world data.
So it's not about picking sides.
Team innovation versus team caution.
It's about finding a way to use both
Harnessing the power of synthetic data.
while being aware of its limitations.
Exactly. And this is an ongoing conversation.
Things are constantly changing.
The field of AI is always evolving.
So our understanding of synthetic data will continue to evolve as well,
We need to stay informed and engaged
and keep asking those tough questions.
about the ethical implications of synthetic data.
How do we ensure it's used for good?
How do we make sure it benefits everyone?
These are important questions.
We can't afford to ignore them.
The decisions we make today will shape the future of AI.
So we all have a role to play.
So this has been a fascinating discussion.
It really has.
I hope it's given our listeners a lot to think about.
A new perspective on this rapidly evolving field.
If you're still with us, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into synthetic data.
We encourage you to keep exploring and learning.
And share your own thoughts on this incredible technology.
The future of AI is being shaped right now.
And your voice matters. So keep asking questions and be part of the conversation.
Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring.